Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Loresworn Chronicles Crusader Kings, where we are going to be playing a narrative RP mega campaign all the way from 769 up to 1821 in EU4 as the Penikese dynasty of Curonia. We might actually switch dynasties at some point. I have some rules in place for that because it seems more historical if the same dynasty doesn't rule for, 1,000 years or something like that. That's some George R.R. Martin shit right there. I did cheat and give myself a God King. If you want to hear more about the background of who we're playing as and kind of what the overall tone and objectives of this campaign are going to be, go ahead and watch episode 0, which is kind of like the introduction. This is the first episode where we're actually going to be having gameplay happen. So that's so if you're just here to see Holy Fury gameplay, you're in the right place. You don't necessarily need to hear all the background detail. So we are Chief Akko of Curonia. He is a Letagalian Balt that leads the Curonian tribe here in the middle Baltic. Our neighbors, we have some other Baltic tribes, other Letagalians, some Lithuanians, Old Prussians. We have some Finnic, Estonian neighbors up here. We've got the Norse right across the Baltic Sea. Lots of Slavic pagans kind of surrounding us on almost all sides. And then, of course, the Franks are kind of a big deal way over in the west here. By the way, if you haven't seen the map changes, there's some pretty significant map changes to this setup, like Benevento being an autonomous tributary of the Lombards. Epirus is now an autonomous tributary of the Byzantines, so is Abkhazia. They've done some similar things with the Anglo-Saxon kingdoms up here. It's pretty interesting. New provinces all over the place. There's actually a lot of undocumented map changes. So we are currently married to our spy master, Brita. She is a hunchback impaler, zealous, gregarious, chaste, and brave. Pretty darn good stats. Hopefully she doesn't pass on her hunchback to too many of our children. I also have, I did some setup before the game. I have some concubines on the way. We have pretty strong council, actually, as far as stats go. We actually started with a really good diviner, which is going to be very helpful. So my first thing we're going to do here is we're going to worship the ancestors for success in battle. So I've decided to visit the shrine in the Holy Grove and make a sacrifice in honor of your ancestors, hoping for their aid in return. What will you ask your forefathers? I'm going to ask them for to guide my sword in battle and let me conquer my enemies. Let's see. Don't have enough money, really. I'm going to wait until we get some money from raiding to hire a smith. Don't know if we start... Yeah, we do start with enough money. Let's go ahead and get an Earth Hill fort right away, because that 5% levy size will be important when we start wanting to do some raiding. Let's see. So you asked your ancestors for military power and prowess in battle. Now it's time to present your offering. What will you give them? Let's see. Wow, this guy has a really good learning stat. So I'm sad to see him go, but may the soul serve you well in the afterlife. Yeah, that is even as a self-admitted pagan boo. That is something I do have to. Oh, do we not have any game sound right now? Oh no, we do have game sound. OBS was just being weird. Yeah, that is a reality that. The pagan world, you kind of have to deal with when you're looking at the early pagan world. Pardon me. That isn't something that necessarily went on so much in the Romanized imperial monotheist world is the human sacrifice element. But hopefully we can move past that eventually someday. I'm also going to pick a patron deity here. Let's see, so... There are many deities whom you can choose to follow. The supreme ruler, our father Dievas, or his ambitious brother Velnius, god of the underworld. For luck in war, play to Perkunas, god of thunder, who is related to the Slavic Perun and the German Thunar, or Thor. God of thunder. Zemina, the earth goddess, blesses her faithful with fertility and good harvests. So we're going to go with the one that gives us martial, which is Perkunas, obviously. Perkunas is the god of thunder. He rides the skies in his chariot with his magical axe in hand. His eternal enemy is Velnius, the serpent, lord of the underworld, whom he protects us from. Those who are faithful to Perkunas will be given courage and success. So hopefully I will be a worthy follower of Perkunas. I have a feeling I will be, since I have a martial skill of 43. Let's see. So the offer struggled violently when the Volve and her disciples pushed it down in the offering stone. I don't actually know what a Volve is, but that seems very similar to the Norse word Vulva, which was a female seeress, basically. If there's anybody in the audience who either studies or is an actual practitioner of Romuva, I would be curious to hear your take on this. The ancestors will surely be pleased with such a vigorous servant. Now all you can do is wait and hope. Okay, this was... Okay, she's the one that was a little too old. Okay, these are the ones I brought in to be concubines. So it's her... And it doesn't matter if I have a million children, because we have eldership succession, so we're not going to have to worry about Gavelkind splits. Okay, so I now have the maximum potential of having lots of babies. I'm also on Groom and Heir and the War Focus. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to join the Band of Medena. Worshipped by hunters and warriors alike, Medena is the huntress goddess of the forest. Her followers wear wolf pelts in her image and hold hares as holy. Medena is known to send the animal out to lure away the unworthy out of her domain. The warriors of Medena have one simple calling: to protect the forest, their home, and true legacy of their ancestors. Oh, I didn't actually click join, did I? Alright. So it looks like we're going to have to deal with the High Chief of the Zemigalians, who are our right next door neighbors. High Chief Gebad... I'll get better at this. Gebedats of the Zemigalians. The Band of Medena greets me with a brief nod. Another recruit, huh? To join our ranks, you need to prove yourself, boy. The man says gruffly, folding his arms across his chest. We are really a boy. We're only 16. You'd be fighting one of our own. Still interested, my lord? Which he wouldn't really be calling me lord at this point, but yeah, I'll gladly fight to prove myself. 21's not an amazing personal combat score, but it's pretty damn good. High Chief Gebedats of the Zemigalians and the Band of Medina has chosen Mendune as my opponent. He's an elder at 38, which tells you something about how long people lived on the fringes of society in this era. Let's see. He's a Latgale. He lives in the Latgalian realm over here. The menacing man eyes me up and down as when we are introduced. Menacing with a personal combat score of 1. Fresh meat, eh? He offers mockingly before shoving an elbow into my side, making everyone laugh. Sparring match, huh? Let's have a duel. The fight has gone on for what feels like hours. The initial confidence I felt has begun to wane and my movements are getting sloppy. Then, just as my knees are about to give way under me, I swing my dull spear in a perfect half circle, causing him to fall backwards in a surprised huff. So I'm victorious. I've also wounded him. I'm going to be taking a lot of screenshots here, by the way. I don't think that'll pop up on OBS, but in case it does, I do want to chronicle as much of this as possible for the wiki. So I gain 15 prestige. I get a dual victory, which gives me plus 0.2 prestige for the next year. And my duel experience increases, which basically the more I duel, the more my personal combat skill goes up, which is pretty cool. So, to the valiant High Chief Akko, I'm told you did not receive a single scratch during your initiation. That's the kind of impressive commander we would be honored to have sitting at our table. You are hereby humbly invited to join our ranks. Alright, so I am now a member of the Band of Medina, which gives me this cool little headband thing. So the first things we get is I can duel my foes. I can appoint a shield maiden. I can appoint any of my sisters or daughters as shield maidens. More resilient to battle or injuries, and when leading troops, my experience gives me access to new events on the field of battle, which is very cool. Need to get up to 750 renown to reach the next rank. But I am now fairly satisfied that I think I might want to declare war on this this dude. Or you know who we should actually go after first? Let's look at their alliances. But let's see. He has an alliance with his wife who doesn't have any land. We have Elder Chief Jeditus of the Samagotians. He has no allies. This is who I really want to go after, though. He is the High Chief of Livonia. Because he holds one of the Ramyva holy sites in Riga, and we want to get holy sites so we can reform their religion. He also doesn't have any allies to speak of. 863 levies, 835, 516. This guy would be the softest target. I'm not super worried about, like, losing in war necessarily, just because we have such ridiculous martial skill. Let's do this. We're gonna organize a raid here. Oh wow, I can get up to 2,000 men at most. Yeah, we're gonna organize a little raid here. After the duel, Mendune asked me for advice on fighting. A little taken aback, I happily offered to train with him on occasion. Today, he thanks me for being a good teacher and friend, he adds, dunking me on the back before he cocks his head in the direction of the sparring grounds. All right, I'll be friends with this dude. He seems like a legit dude. He's not especially talented in any way, shape, or form, but why not, brother? Alright, so I'm going to organize a little raid here. We're just going to test the strength of our enemies. I'm actually going to go down to speed 3. Okay, so we could easily take this fortress if we wanted to. We'll go back up to speed 5. I recently noticed one of my soldiers, Vishli, is something else, to say the least. He outmaneuvers warriors with twice his experience in the sparring ring on a regular basis. Perhaps I can find him a new position. Yeah. These are all people that are probably going to show up in sagas. I should screenshot that other guy, too. Who was, Elder Mendune. Yeah. He was my dueling buddy, so I'm going to screenshot him, because he's probably going to show up in some legends down the line. It's Samogitia. I keep calling it Samagotia, but that's just dyslexia rearing its ugly head. Okay, that's not going to get us anywhere. Let's go raid the Lithuanians. Let's see what they have going on here. Okay, we could also easily take this. We could even take Riga. There would be a crossing penalty here, I believe. I always forget where the icon that tells you about river crossings is. So yeah, there is a crossing of the major river, the Daugava, to Riga. So that would be a strategic concern. We wouldn't want to attack across the river. We'd want them to attack us across the river. So that's definitely something to think about. Did we drag anyone out of their hiding hole? We did. We dragged Viva, who is not worth any ransom money, so we'll just keep her around to sacrifice to our pagan gods. Alright. My concubine is pregnant, but that can't be right, can it? Let's see. We're going to go ahead and lower these guys. Should have enough money to build an earth. Actually, you know what? I'm going to focus on the capital. I'm going to play tall here, kind of. We don't have enough prestige for anything. Let's see. He's not an elder. What plot do we know about? He wants to kill the elder Juvage, who is not, or Uvage, who is not currently involved in our government at all. So I'm gonna let them do their thing. This is two people who don't really concern me unless they decide to make it my problem. I've thought it over, and I can't be the father of my concubine Ausra's baby. As it grows in her belly, I have trouble sleeping. I must put this matter to rest. Yeah, let's look into it. We got some cash. So here's the thing: we need to get some positive prestige here. So I am gonna raid the Zibagalians, showing that, you know, people I shouldn't really have a beef with, just because I have to get stronger to be respected as a ruler. I am kind of targeting here. Let's see. Not found anything suspicious. I'm just gonna say that I was paranoid. Crusader Kings. Crusader Kings is about passing on your dynasty, not passing on your genes. So, all right, hire someone to find out. Staying idle. Okay, so this is the High Chief. Bezprism, Girl Arm of Prussia. I can see why they call him Girl Arm. He also has an eye missing though, which is kind of badass. He's not made for a life of war. Either in personal combat or in leading. Leading his men on the battlefield, is he? So we can get this event sometimes from our warrior lodge. Staying idle is not in a warrior's blood. I hence invite you to aid me against my enemies. I promise to put in a good word for you at the lodge based on your participation in the war. Let the battlefield overflow with the blood of our fallen enemies. So he's fighting the Pomeranians. Let's do it. Just for the sake of adventure. Let's go aid our brethren in their wars. Get some combat experience. Build our renown and our legend. So we will we'll march to war alongside the Prussians. Let's see. No sign of suspicious activity, so. I've encountered fledgling Ausra many times while carrying out my duties for the band of Medina, and it is always a pleasant occasion. We can talk for hours if the time allows, because she never bores me. While our discussions are often lengthy, we always seem to agree on the matters which are most important. She's 51, so I'm probably not going to get any extra kids from her, but just because I like the idea of it, let's profess our feelings to each other. Now this is going to be an interesting battle that might show up in some legends later, because what's happening here is our cowardly Mr. Girl Arm here is fleeing from the banks of the Vistula, while we are trying to get there before the Pomeranians cross the river with their superior force, because obviously Akko would be like, hey, come on guys, like, it's the Vistula. That's a really good spot to defend. Why are you abandoning your position. For a moment the world stood still and I could not breathe. Then the most radiant, heartwarming smile spread across Ausra's pale face. I thought you would never ask, Akko. Alright, so we have a wife, 3 concubines, and a lover. This guy is, as Russ Hanneman would say, this guy fucks. Alright, we didn't get there in time to fortify the river. But it does look like the Prussians have regrouped with another segment of their tribal army, and that we are going to have superior numbers going into this. Hail, fledgling! As members of the Band of Adana, we strive to better ourselves and each other. One way is the occasional sparring match for practice and honor. Seek out and duel fledgling Televaldis. You will find him in Seldia. Pardon me. All right, so we have a mission to go duel this dude who lives up here. The Selians, I don't know much about them. It's not a name I'm super familiar with from any historical or saga sources, but they live in the same general vicinity as the Zibigalians and the Lithuanians and the Samogodians, who are fairly well attested, so probably similar. Alright, so this is our first battle. We are fighting around Marienburg, which is a coastal plain. We have our boy Akko in the center, and this guy that I really should have swapped out for someone else on the left flank against Vladsimir, who is the leader of the Pomeranians, and then reinforcements are on the way from our allies here. So let's see how it goes. Okay, so we have the superior numbers now. We have a halfway decent flank commander, and it looks like we are going to rout them quite decisively. And my first daughter has been born, Imela. Can I? Okay, we're under agnatic, so I can't nominate her as my heir yet. Oh, speaking of laws, can we go to medium tribal organization? Let's see. I set up my council pretty wisely. Yeah, it looks like they would accept this. I passed low tribal organization before we even hit unpause, so. Alright, so we won the battle. I forgot to screenshot it, of course, so I'll grab the screenshot from the YouTube video later. But it looked like we won pretty decisively. And we can now move across the river. Conversion of Varia. The tribes of Varia have been converted to the Catholic faith. A group of priests sent by the King of Bavaria. He's also a girl arm, apparently. Have performed a great ritual during which they... I also want to get a screenshot of the King of Bavaria here. Who is Tassilo III Agalolfing. Did his father... Okay, he is the historical King of Bavaria at the start date. Performed a great ritual during which they've converted the entire population of Bavaria along with Khan Barsbeck and many of his vassals. With this act, people of Varia have once and for all forsaken their old pagan gods. So Catholicism's already starting to spread in our general direction. Gotta be careful. Alright, so we have medium tribal organization, which means the council now gets to vote on war, revoking titles, and granting titles, but that's okay. We want to get our organization higher. So basically what we're doing right now, and what will be reflected in the sagas about this time, is we're kind of... We're increasing... I wouldn't really say state control, but we're increasing monarchical control over the tribes by also simultaneously giving our counselors more power. Let's see, and I also want to read So minimum is barely any control over our vassals. We have limited control over our vassals. Power of vassals and liege chiefs are somewhat balanced. So the constant surges of adrenaline and increased heart rate makes me weary. It's not as fun being angry as it used to be. So we lose the Wrath trait. Worrying reports have reached you regarding your Marshal, Sveindarog. It seems he's been using your soldiers to extort money from the peasantry in Kurtsima. So we get revolt risk either way. I'm gonna say I'll deal with this later. I'm gonna let it slide. So Siege of Danzig is complete. Get a screenshot of that. And then we're not going to cross the Vistula to attack. We're actually going to cross at Kelmo and attack from the south. Let's see. We have another daughter. Her name is Viba. No sons so far. And I think we can win this battle pretty handily, even outnumbered. Oh, my wife is finally pregnant. I'm starting to worry if I shouldn't organize something special for this year's harvest rite. Pleasing Zemyana could be instrumental to ensure the birth of a healthy child. So I can sacrifice I can dedicate the entire festival to my wife, which you're welcome. And Brita gets Queen of the Harvest. She'd also like me more because she's touched. I could make a sacrifice to Zemyana in her name, which causes her to be softened. I'm going to dedicate an entire harvest festival to my wife. My wife could not have been more appropriate choice for this year's festival. She's the spitting image of Zemyana. Apparently Zemyana is a hunchback. And all the peasants love her. If nothing else, this ceremony has certainly helped me improve the spirit of Kurtsima's population. Yeah, there's a lot of new events related to birth and pregnancy in this DLC. Can't help you against the Kuyavians here, because we're not part of that war. Okay, cool. Pomeranian-Prussian subjugation wars ended. High Chief of Prussia won. I don't know what actually resulted from that, because it doesn't look like he actually subjugated anything. They're not even tributaries, are they? I don't know. Okay. Well, we're going to come home. We are going to lower our armies. We're going to immediately re-raise our armies because we need to go raid to get some money so that we can declare war. So we're going to go raid the Samogodians again. Just to get into the positives. We're going to go raid the Livonians again. Okay, cool. We finally have a son named Kyra. If I'm saying this wrong, please educate me on how to pronounce Baltic names, because I have no idea. And he is no congenital traits. We're going to raise all of our children in the struggle. At least all of our male children, much as we did in the Return of Arthur game, because we want them to be great warriors, at least for the time being. And I'm going to go ahead and go to my laws screen. Going to nominate him as the successor. And let's go ahead and finish taking these guys' money. Alright. So, a bit of prestige for a building. We do. Wall and ditch. Increases our garrison size. This must be specific to Baltic pagans, because this wasn't here in the Norse training or test game I did. I think we probably want training grounds first. War camp, practice range. Or a warrior gathering ground. That would be very nice, actually. Yeah, I think we'll start with the training grounds, probably. And then that's going to be the end of this first episode. And in the next episode, we are going to probably go to war to subjugate the Livonians. So we can get that holy site under control. We can boost the moral authority of the faith. And we can actually control a holy site. 3 we're going to be going for are going to be Riga, Podlasia, and Chelmno. I mean, eventually we'll probably want to own all 5 of them, especially since Arcona is such a significant site in the Romuva faith, and also the reconstructed Neo-Romuva faith today. There's actually a very awesome pagan metal band called Arcona, and if you haven't heard them before and you need something to kind of set the tone for a Romuva playthrough in CK2, I highly recommend those guys. They're awesome. Anyway, be sure to subscribe, like, comment, whatever you want to do. Click that bell thingy so you'll be notified for the next episode. And keep an eye out for the wiki that is going to be chronicling the history of this timeline, as well as some special narrative focus videos where I'm going to be doing like a narrative voiceover of what has happened in our story so far. And we'll see you next time.